Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic. In today's video, similar to what we did with Ikoria a few weeks back, we're going to be looking at the top 10 best core set 2021 cards for Commander. Before we get going, please do hit that like button and why not give a little subscribe down below if you love all things Magic the Gathering. As with the previous lists, this is entirely made up of my own opinion. Anything you think is missing? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's get right into the list. Just making it into the list at number 10 we have Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Whether he's your commander or just in the 99, as long as you can get him out on the battlefield, he can do bits. Make sure you've got plenty of cards like Grey Merchant of Asphodel or Swallowing Plague and you're instantly gaining potentially loads of life, then having that added firepower of dealing that much life to your opponents. Imagine if you get Vito's second ability going off with a load of creatures on your side of the board. That's a lot of damage heading your opponent's way. In at number 9 we have Conspicuous Snoop, and if you're running a Goblin Tribal then this is a card that should be going straight in your deck. It does so much for 2 red mana. Play with the top card of your library revealed. Yes, that does give away a bit to your opponents of what could be coming up, but that second ability makes it all worthwhile. Being able to cast Goblin spells from the top of your library gives you that slight edge in Commander, as you've essentially got that extra card advantage over all of your opponents. The last ability, however, is my favourite. As long as the top card of your library is a Goblin, Conspicuous Snoop has the same activated abilities of that card. It's almost a semi-nod to the mutate mechanic in Ikoria. Imagine if you had Krenko Mob Boss on top of your library. If you already had a load of goblins on the field, things are going to get out of hand very, very quick. The number 8 spot on this list goes out to Peer into the Abyss. Imagine if that was the actual art. Very quickly, do check out our Insta for more top quality memes and other good stuff. Now, this is such a powerful card for Commander either way you want to use this card. For one, if you really want to slash your opponent's life total and mill them a butt ton, it's going to really deal damage. I love the thought of an opponent having to draw 20 cards then discard 13. Personally myself, I'd love to have a deck with something like Reliquary Tower, go the no maximum hand size route and use it on myself. You may lose a lot of life, but if you can afford it, then you've suddenly got potentially dozens of cards that could help you get over the finish line and get that victory. Coming in as the 7th best card from the Core 21 set for Commander, we have Azusa, Lost But Seeking. This card is an absolute powerhouse. I won't spoil the latest game nights too much for those who haven't watched it, but I believe Craig Blanchett managed to get about 10 mana within about 3 turns thanks in part to this incredible card. If you're getting those lands out early, then playing those standard commander cards like Cultivate or Kodama's Reach, then you are going to be getting out of hand really fast. As a creature, Azusa won't be doing that much damage direct to players, but she will be directly responsible for bringing out creatures like Ulvenwald Hydra or World Spine Worm out several turns early. Oh, imagine how strong that Hydra would be with all those extra lands out. Ooh-wee. Making it to 6th on this list we have Scavenging Ooze, another reprint of a card that's been out a while, but in Commander this thing could get strong really fast. Its ability, at a cost of 1 green mana and not a tapping ability too, so you could use it multiple times, you can exile a card from your graveyard, get a 1/1 counter on Ooze and gain a life. That is just lots of little value that's soon going to become almost overwhelming. Get an Alpha Authority on it quick and make the Ooze hexproof, and before you know it that little 2/2 Ooze will be so strong and extra hard to kill. Combo that off once the Ooze is really strong with a Triumph of the Hordes and you've got yourself an insta-death to some or maybe all of your opponents. Just squeezing into the top half of the list at number 5 we have my boy, the Elder Gargaroth. As I learned from pulling him in the pre-release tournament I did last weekend, if you can get Gargi out onto the board, he's just going to destroy. In my opinion, he's far too strong for a 5 CMC card, but I'm not on the WotC board, so my opinion really means
you have no power here.
A 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach and Trample that triggers its ability every time it attacks or blocks. In Commander, you could be using this and it could be potentially triggering on each person's turn. I mean, if they're stupid enough to attack you. But I mean, just having the Gargaroth on the field will put you at that extra advantage, as your opponents probably won't want to attack you, just so they won't be at an even bigger advantage when it blocks. I would love to combo this off with a Quartzwood Crasher and create an XX green dinosaur every time Gargi deals damage to the opposition. Just missing out on the bronze medal position at number 4 we have Radha, Heart of Keld, and oh my god do I love this card.
Get a room, you two!
You better believe I'm already making a deck around Radha. A cheap to play legendary 3/3 who has first strike as long as it's your turn. For her as your commander, you simply just want so many lands and then a load of big creatures. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. If it's a land, you may play it. Imagine if you get Radha out and your next top 5 cards are all land. If you've got landfall trigger cards, such as Rampaging Baloths or Baloth Woodcrusher, your board state is just going to get out of hand and be overwhelming in no time at all. And that last ability where Radha gets +X for the amount of lands you control, if you've got Radha as your commander, you really should be winning most games. Starting to wish I put Radha even higher on this list. Before I get onto the top 3, I do want to quickly mention I wanted to try and not include as many cards as I already included from my previous Core 21 video, as I talked about those cards in great detail and really didn't want to repeat myself too much. So in these final 3 positions, you won't be seeing Chromatic Ori, Liliana, Ugin or Massacre Worm. So if you're a big fan of those, just pretend they've made it to the number 1 spot. Taking the spot as the 3rd best card for Commander from Core Set 2021, we have Fiery Emancipation. Like I just said, I didn't want to use too many cards from the last video, but Fiery Emancipation more than warrants its entry. If something you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. Triple. Deals say 8 damage with a Magma Quake. Guess what? It's now doing 24 damage. Dealing 5 damage with a Shrapnel Blast? Yep. That's now doing 15 damage, absolutely huge. And as we've mentioned last time, partner it with a Maelstrom Warrior as commander, and you've got a creature that's instantly doing 21 commander damage and eliminating your opponent from the game. Runner up and the 2nd best card from Core 2021 for commander, we have Sublime Epiphany. Another card like Gargi that for the mana cost, it just does a ridiculous amount. The first line, choose 1 or more. You could choose all 5 if you wanted, and really, why would you not if you had the chance? In 1 turn, you could counter an enemy putting out a really strong creature on the board, return another potentially really strong creature to its owner's hand, create a copy of one of your really strong creatures, and draw yourself a card. If you wanted to do all of those with separate cards, it would cost you an insane amount of mana. I'll certainly be keeping my old faithful Call to Mind in my decks, so I can bring this card back and use it all over again. What a card. And to no surprise to anyone at all, the number 1 card on this list is the one and only Teferi, Master of Time. Again, a card I've talked about before, but really a card that just can't be ignored. I did a little survey on Reddit and Facebook asking people what they thought the best card from C21 for Commander was, and time again, everyone said Teferi. You really can see why. It's got that +1 ability that can be used on every player's turn. So in no time at all, if you can defend Teferi, he'll be at that ultimate -10 ability and grant you 2 extra turns. Imagine using that ability at the end of your turn, then knowing you've got 2 extra turns to see out the game. Add cards like Beacon of Tomorrows or Capture of Jingzhou, and you could be having turn after turn and making your enemies just want to... There we have it, that's the list. Do let me know the cards you'd add to your very own top 10 lists below. Keep your eyes peeled for the Core Set 2021 booster box opening in the coming days on this channel. And please do like this video and make sure you are subscribed down below for more future Magic the Gathering content. For now, I'm all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.